Oregon is just the gift that keeps on giving for the Auburn Tigers. With some news today of an addition coming, a third one from the Oregon Ducks, it makes things pretty interesting for the Auburn quarterback race going forward into the spring. Let's talk about who they're adding to that quarterback room, but also what it means for that room and the team going forward. Welcome to the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks. Our content here and on our podcast network may tend to be Auburn sports heavy, but if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you never miss any content. And thank you to members of our booster club like Kevin Nelson, who help produce videos like this. If you recall, I did a video in the not too distant past about where Auburn's quarterback room stands now, the percentage chance that TJ Finley, Zach Calzada, Demetrius Davis, and even Holden Geriner stand in the race and their chance of starting. While I'm not going to do an update based off of this news, I think it's important for you to go back and watch that for some context of why I see this news the way I do. But with that being said, the news is that Robby Ashford, quarterback from Oregon, has decided to transfer to Auburn. While some people anticipated it, it's still very surprising news given the fact that Auburn already had 4 solid options at quarterback already on campus. I say the more the merrier, but it is still interesting to see why he decided to come to Auburn. We'll talk about more of that in just a second here. But I do want to take a sec to notice that we have now taken 3 players from Oregon since Bo Nix has left. Jason Jones, the defensive lineman, DJ James, the cornerback, and just after that, Robby Ashford, the quarterback. And let me just say this about the whole Bo Nix aspect of it. If you think that he didn't sell these guys, or at least some of them, on Auburn, then you're lying to yourself. The dude loves Auburn, and I'm sure that he had a hand in getting some of these guys, if not the quarterback, to come to Auburn. With that aside, though, it's still a pretty cool feat to note that we lost 1 to Oregon but gained 3. It's a pretty decent trade no matter how you feel about the quarterback. In fact, you're seeing jokes about, like, did someone hit the trade button or some code to trade for this player? It feels almost kind of like a legitimate professional trade where you get 3 for 1 in the deal. It's just kind of interesting to look at how this has worked out. But now let's talk about why Robby Ashford has decided to come to Auburn. What is the possible advantage of him coming to an already crowded room with several candidates who are likely going to take the starting job? Well, first of all, let's just look at it from this way. He's from Alabama, more specifically Hoover. He's coming back home, and I think he even addressed this in a social media post confirming that he committed to Auburn. I'm coming back home. So that's a huge thing for him, all the way out in Oregon, all the stuff that he's been through over the last couple of years at Oregon, not getting to play really, because I don't think he's played at all at Oregon or seen the field at any time. So he's coming back home to stay. Number 2, baseball. He didn't play at all for the football team, but he did play for the baseball team. It's been interesting to kind of watch this thing, because this is now the second player that I can think of in recent history where there may have been a dual partnership between Coach Harsin and Bruce Pearl when it was with Trey Donaldson for a player that wants to play basketball and football. Now maybe Butch Thompson had a hand in this to get the guy to come on over and convince him, hey, why don't you come fill in our quarterback room a little bit more, if we needed to at all, and maybe compete, try out for a spot here on the baseball team. I haven't heard any confirmations on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's in the cards for him. Just interesting to watch that go down. What other deals can we broker with the other Auburn sports programs to get some other players to come here? So I think those are 2 obvious reasons why he's coming here. I mean, the third one could be he wants to play quarterback, but maybe we look at some of these other factors and realize, is that right now, as things stand, the best option for him? If that's his only reason for coming, to try and win the starting job, it's going to be a tough hill to climb for him. Not saying he can't do it, but I think there's a very crowded and very talented room to compete against. So what does this mean for the quarterback position? I would say at this point we are full. There are a ton of Auburn Tiger fans wanting Caleb Williams to come to Auburn. Now, I would never ever say that's 100% ruled out, because things have just been crazy this offseason, but I think you could pretty much close the door. Auburn's quarterback room is full. At this point, the spring game is going to be so much fun to watch and so busy. You know, we spent a lot of the time in the last spring game not focusing on the quarterbacks all that much and seeing the rest of the positions filled out, but you're going to be rotating in quarterbacks so much this spring game with now 5 potential candidates to start. It's going to get really tiresome trying to keep up with how each of them are doing and really make informed decisions about who is the best option for Auburn at quarterback. Obviously, that's not our decision to make, but it's still fun for us to analyze and to talk about. Really excited for that spring game and the quarterback competition. Also, the bad part about this is now I think it kind of forces someone to have to leave. I don't know who that is. I don't foresee it being Zach Calzada. I don't foresee it being Robby Ashford or Holden Geriner, who just got here. So unfortunately, I think that leaves the two obvious candidates of TJ Finley and Demetrius Davis. I don't think anybody's going to leave just yet, but after spring game, when we have another opportunity to sit down and probably do an update to that video that we've already done about who has the best percentage chance to start for Auburn, we'll probably be talking about someone making the decision to move off. Now, more specifically about Robby, we've talked about maybe why he's coming here and also what the implication of him coming means for the Tigers at quarterback and just for the team in general. But I also think for Robby, we need to be honest at this point, just looking at how his career is going so far and what he has to compete against at Auburn, he's likely not going to start as of this moment with the information that we have. But I do think that what we have found is yet another extremely solid backup who can come in at a moment's notice, just like we had to have last year. If one's not getting it done, one gets hurt, and we're ready to go because we got a guy with a lot of talent as well. In the meantime, why not play some baseball? If you love doing that over at Oregon, being a part of the football team and also the baseball team, I say go ahead and do that as well, as long as you can work it out with obviously the football coach and the baseball coach and your commitment levels. So that's kind of how I see this news impacting everything. And I don't think I've given you anything brand new revelations or anything like that, but it's just kind of what's working through my head with this kind of surprising news of Robby Ashford committing to the Tigers. I always say the more the merrier. Competition makes everybody better. So I love having another Tiger, whether it's from Oregon or anybody, come on over and decide to be part of the Auburn family. Now I want to hear from you in the comments section below. What do you think about this news? Robby Ashford committing to the Auburn Tigers and now competing for potentially a starting job as Auburn's quarterback. What do you think about that, the prospect of him? And we'll be covering more about this in the coming months, I'm sure. If you enjoyed this type of content, please help support it by smashing that like button. And if you want more content from us, be sure to hit the subscribe along with the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads or live streams. There's ways to help support our content listed in the description. One of those being becoming a channel member here. You can just hit the join button. You can also go over to patreon.com/E2C Network for the E2C Network Booster Club. Both of those things start at $1 a month. You can check the links out in the description. Thank you for tuning into the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks. War Eagle.